Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. As you can tell, I still don't have an introduction, but today I'm going to do a Valentine's Day makeup look, something pink, for my Instagram, Thursday. So this will probably go up after I post my Instagram, because I'm a little bit slower with my channel. I'm starting off with moisturizing my skin. I always include this in my videos, because I think it's so important to moisturize your skin. So I'm just going around where I'm like prone to acne right here. I kind of avoid because my pores are a lot larger there. So the sebum and stuff that I already produce a lot there, and I just want the majority of the moisture to be over here. I'll still bring some up because if you don't moisturize, your body will produce more sebum, which means I'll break out even more. But mostly hormonal too, and digestive, because I do not eat well at all, but it could be worse. So I actually have my bangs back today, so I can moisturize my forehead, and I will. Thank you very much. And I'm really excited today because I got a couple new products, just a couple, two or three, and a couple new brushes, and something about getting new products to play around with just makes me so excited. So now that I'm all moisturized, usually I'd go in with my bio oil. You can tell I use this a lot. This is something that I usually do when I know I'm going to be out all day at school, wherever it may be, but I'm just doing this and washing it off so I don't have to worry about this stuff. And I don't really want to wait for the oil to soak in my face before I use this e.l.f. primer. Now, I've tried their hydrating and their acne primer, but I've never tried their poreless face primer. I used a little bit in the back of my hand to see how it would be, and it looks like it might be really effective. So I'm just taking this, and I'm going to pump some out, one pump, the back of my hand, and then take it right where my pores are bad. And let me get a little close. I have acne scars, so I have these, see that? Spots in my face where there's kind of like holes from where my acne was in the past, and I just want to see how this will help me out. Holy shit. This, by the way, is $6, a $6 primer. So it's not going to cover up your student loans. But wow, actually, I don't know if it's just mattifying, and that's why it looks like it's doing so much. But let's try this side. So look at this side's not as bad as the other side for some reason when it comes to scarring and pores, but let's see. Yeah, I really like this. There's definitely silicone in it. If you're using a primer and it feels kind of slippery while you're putting it on, there's definitely silicone in the primer, and a lot of people will hear silicone and think like I shouldn't be putting that on my skin. But it is really hard to wash silicone-based products off your skin. But if you have a face brush, like a spinning, like a Clarisonic or something, it will clean it off. Or you use mud masks a lot. And by the way, there's so much excess on my hand, I do not need all this product. I just don't know what to do with it. My 5 had saved the day, but I usually would have just put the pore primer right around this area and that's it. But there's so much excess from that pump. Anyways, if you use a primer and you feel like it made your makeup look cakier, check the ingredients on your foundation. Because if you're using a water-based foundation and a silicone-based primer, there will be a really weird chemical reaction and you'll look cakey and just not cute. So, as you guys know, or you don't know, I don't know you. Wow, this made my skin feel smoother too. Okay. I'll tell you if I recommend this, by the way, when I move on to foundation, but so far I'm really pleased. As you guys may or may not know, I like doing my eyes first. By the way, my eyes are doing the thing. This eye looks green, this eye looks blue. But I posted a picture before when my eyes were doing this, and someone said one of my eyes left the chat. I was dead. Whatever. So I'm going to hop into eyes and I'll get back onto the face. As I'm carving out my brows with Tarte Shape Tape, as I'm carving out my brows with this Tarte tape, beep. As I'm carving out my brows with a Tarte Shape Tape concealer in Fair 01, and this concealer brush, which I pressed myself. I can teach you guys how to press my brushes so that they're flat like this if you want. I'm going to talk about why I do eyes first, because it's such a debatable topic nowadays for some reason. And yes, I carve out my brows before I actually go in and do them, because I just like to have a base. Well, don't lie, Ariana. Okay. I'm carving out my brows before I actually go in and do them. I have a little bit of product in, but they're not done for like eye makeup done. But I see Mama Mitchell do this a lot, where he lays a base and then he goes back in with eyebrow product and does his eyebrows after. And I'm really intrigued and I've wanted to try it. I do eye makeup first because, well, first of all, it leaves you very, very little room for error. I'm a messy blender and stuff. It's going to blend out here, especially on my eye shape, it just does that. And you don't have to worry about touching your face and like messing up your makeup. I don't recommend Tarte Shape Tape for carving out your brows for a heavy makeup look. I wish I had something a little bit thicker. Don't worry about getting on the concealer perfect on the lid. I like to connect the concealer in the middle, so I know how to level my brows out. Well, I haven't really done this method before, doing this first, but I think it will help me know how to level my brows out. And now I'm just taking some concealer onto the lid, whatever's left on the brush, so I'm not wasting. I feel like I have more concealer on this eye, so I'm just going in and taking some off this eye and putting it over here. I'm taking my very trusty concealer brush. Got it from Amazon, honestly. And I'm just buffing out the concealer. I use this concealer mainly to carve out my brows, but I'm thinking I want to go into something else on the lid too, because I want a really tacky base. Like, you ever see the P. Louise base, which God, I wish I had, and they put it on, and it just is so thick, and it just covers every imperfection. It could cover a murder. So I'm just going to take my stick foundation from Wet n Wild, which is another new product I've received. And I'm using this because I know it will have a thick, stiff kind of base and be tacky for the foundation, for the eyeshadow, because the Tarte Shape Tape is a little bit thinner compared to this, a lot, and it's just not as stiff. Like Tarte, like it moves around really easily until you set it and stuff. I want something that will just like be on, and that's it. Forget about it. Now, something I noticed with the Wet n Wild foundation stick, does anybody else have this foundation and notices that it separates a lot? Because I do. I feel like it just separates a lot, which is why I want to try it today on top of this poreless face primer by e.l.f. and see if that's going to help any. Trust the process. As you do this makeup, you will look scarier until you see the art form on your face. It's just part of the process. Never judge a painting before it's done. So I'm making sure all the creases are patted out. I don't know what kind of look I'm gonna do. I literally have nothing in my brain for what look I want to do, except I know I want to use this Take Me Back to Brazil palette, and I know, because it's Valentine's Day, I want to stay around this area. I'm going to start with this really deep magenta-y pink. It's the darkest pink shade in here on this Wet n Wild brush, and fuck, it already creased. Pack it right, wow, beautiful, into here. This is a packer brush. When you're using like a wet base, you always want to pack and then blend. Pack and then blend. Now, I always like to do the crease first also, because I know that the crease is going to crease, and I want to stop that from happening ASAP, just so I don't have to deal with it. Now I'm taking a lighter pink shade. By the way, while I'm doing my makeup and my hand is touching my face, my skin feels so smooth from that primer. Now I'm taking this very light pink. Do you see that? And I'm going in and I'm using this to blend out the other colors. so that when I go in with a blending brush, it won't look patchy. So now I'm taking a blending brush and I'm going in with a hot pink, and I'm starting in the crease. This is another Wet n Wild brush, by the way, and it's a very fluffy one. Let's see. And I'm just blending all of these colors together. So now we have a gradient. Now I'm going with the deepest purple shade, which has some issues with being patchy, so I'm a little concerned, but we're gonna do it. And I'm going to pack almost in the same pattern as we did before. I can already tell it's gonna be a lot sheerer of a moment. And I'm going up, and I'm going in right here. I'm gonna take this other fluffy brush that has no shadow on it, it's just a little stained yellow. And I'm taking this really light peach shade and mixing it with this other light, like, cool tone pink. And I am starting right here. And I'm bringing it right here. And a lot of makeup is going back and forth in between colors until it gets exactly to where you want it. And that is exactly what I'm doing. I'm going back into these shades, bringing those back since they got lost when we did the deep purples. Now we lost some of the pinks. So I'm going to go back in with this brush and take some of the hot pink, and I'm going to blend those two shades together right back again, reunite them. It's just the process. Trust it, keep going with it, don't get frustrated. So many people will get to the point I was before I wiped away what was on my face and be like, it's looking so bad, I look so ugly, like it's not going anywhere. Don't sweat it and have fun. That's why I love makeup. I have so much fun doing it. Just have fun. Seriously, just have fun. It's not that deep. It's just makeup, honey. I'm going to take this flat brush. I'm going to take black eyeshadow out of the BH Cosmetics palette and use it to deepen this outer V. Wow, that's pigmented. I'm bringing it up into the shadow. Almost like a wing. But then I'm taking the fluffy side and blending it into the shadow. Same concealer brush I used on my brows. I'm taking that concealer and I'm cutting my petite crease right above where my natural crease is, just so that you can still see it when I look straight ahead. I kind of do these little mini circular motions while I'm doing this. Then I'm looking into the mirror and seeing how it lines up, and I'm seeing there's like this divot right here, so I'm going in and fixing that. And now, yeah, I love that now. Now my crease is cut. I actually cut it really symmetrical. I'm proud of myself. Take that concealer brush and kind of stamp the concealer in my lid so that when I go over with eyeshadow, it's not going to be patchy. It won't cling to areas that are thicker than others. Kind of get this pretty pink color from my blending of the shadows anyways. I think it looks really pretty, but I'm taking the concealer out a bit just so I can. I think I'm going to go in with the hot pink shade and do like this kind of motion to kind of like, yeah. It's going to be an anti-baddie. No, not anti-baddie. It's definitely going to be a baddie. It's going to be a Anti Valentines Day makeup look. I'm mixing the hot pink and purple, and I'm going right here. I'm actually taking some of the black Brisky and taking it right here and into the crease. The black goes a long way. I just found out. It's so pigmented. It's like neon pigmented. I kind of like how James Charles said he did like a more toned down black in his palette for when you just want to add a hint of it and then like this happens and you go too far and you're like, I appreciate that. That was an artist thinking, not someone who just like thinks they know everything. I am hacking on way too much black than I need to because there was patchiness and it was bothering me. So now I have this. Taking this brush and I'm just making sure my concealer is blended before I go in. Nikki's tutorials just so good because she is the only reason I would ever think about putting a shimmery ivory shade on my lid like this. And it is just so genius. It's just so simple. And I'm going to take this lmao plum liner and just use this to deepen the outer V. And it will kind of get rid of that patchiness look and just make everything flow together. I'm going to take this Wet n Wild Mega Liner, which I love Wet n Wild so much, wow. And I'm going to do a pretty bold wing. But I'm not going to bring it in far at all. I'm going to stop it right around here, and I'm going to make it really skinny. I'm taking this Wet n Wild foundation stick in the shade Porcelain. What's new? This is actually a little bit dark for me. The shade Porcelain and the liquid foundation seems to be a little lighter. But it's a pretty close match. So, it honestly just depends on your lighting. It's gliding over the primer really well. I wanted to give this another good solid chance with the primer because I feel like the primer will make it just glide instead of catching on everything. And it's pretty, it says full coverage, but it feels medium to buildable, and I just need to like cover it all on my chin basically, get rid of my acne scars and stuff. And with my foundation brush, it's a Frito Kahlo set from Amazon, and I'm just buffing this in, seeing where she takes me. So far it's blending in without pulling on any areas and catching on anything. It's actually looking a lot smoother than it has before, but this is on my forehead. This is not a problem area for me, but it's looking really good right now. Wow, the primer is making a huge difference right now. So I really recommend the e.l.f. poreless primer, because before I used it, this foundation was so cakey, separated looking, and just not cute. But right now, kind of living for it actually. By the way, pink eyeshadow stains, so I plan on going out without makeup the next day. Just don't, because I'm gonna take this Cool Tone contouring cream and my sleek contour palette. Just go right above the hollow of the cheekbone and pulling in right about here. Oh, get it here. Right to this part of my eye is where I'm going to stop pulling it in, because when you blend it will get pulled in further. Contour the nose. I go right like this, because the tip of my nose is very wide. I take a very dark contour cream and I go like this to bring my nostrils in. And then I go in even further, and I have a little bump in my nose where it gets bigger right there, but I bring it in to get rid of that effect. I like this part of my lip to drop more. I feel like it just looks more attractive in my face, so if I add a little contour there, it adds that effect. It will make parts of your face drop right there. And I can even do it on my top lip. Now I'm taking it right here. And now my favorite part, this long chin, I want to make it a little bit more pointy. Even though it already is pretty pointy, honestly. But the shape I'm doing, I'm kind of giving myself that V shape. And I'm going up the sides right here to get that just cut look. I'm also going to take a warm toned contour, and I'm rounding out my forehead, which is very square. I'm taking the contouring side of this foundation brush, and I'm starting on the forehead. And I'm taking the foundation side and using this to pull the foundation up because it should not be that far down. And I'm going in back with this side, and I'm just going back and forth until it's blended seamlessly. If I had a damp sponge, I'd probably be going in with that too, but I don't. Go back in with the contour side, it's going to become darker again, just because you're putting in a little bit of darkness from what's on that brush and you're pulling up the foundation. So yeah, I like that. Basically, I just want to lift my chin, because look. See how that transforms the face? So by adding shadows here and adding highlight here, I can make that effect, and I will add highlight there in a moment. So now I'm going to blend out the contour, and I'm blending it. I'm stopping blending right where my laugh lines start. I will not bring the contour any further than that. I feel like I see a little redness peeking through right here. I don't know if you guys see that.
1,000 years later.
Taking my Tarte Shape Tape Concealer, and I'm just going to go right there. So I still want that illusion. And I'm going to go just the smallest amount. And then look how small I'm making that triangle before it's huge, right? So now I want this part of my face to stand out, to be brought forward. And I want to conceal my bags, obviously. And I want this part of my face to be brought up. I'm going to do that and then go in with the foundation brush. I kind of like that. I feel like I have more control with where I'm placing it. Yeah, because like this is making the shadow pop out more. I really like that. This is kind of bringing my skin tone back again too, by the way. Just because all of this contouring, you look a lot tanner than you are. And I even get the control from this paddle brush to clean up the eyeshadow, which is nice. I'm taking my Coty Airspun powder. Seeing that I don't have any creases, which is good. And I'm setting the under eyes immediately, because those crease the fastest. And I think I'm actually going to go with the pencil this time, which I rarely do because I just bought this too. e.l.f. came out with new brow colors. They have a darker brow now, and it's more cool toned, and it's just what I needed. And it could also be good for the black hair, because like natural black hair isn't black, it's just dark brown. So a little too thick, but it's whatever. We love a thickie. I'm gonna make my lashes black, but I'm not gonna be worried about adding any depth to them, any length or anything. And this sleek mascara pretty much does that. It just kind of makes them black. So I'm just going in from above, and I'm so shaky. I'm doing this with my left hand, but okay, it's on. Now I'm just going to shots, everybody, shots. Bro, is she done? Oh my god. I'm taking my Profusion Contour Makeup palette, and I am going in with medium contour, and I'm just mixing in both of the contour shades that I've left, honestly. I'm just doing a little of that, and doing circular motions right where we cream contoured. I'm going to take this more fluffy circular brush, pretty much the same brush I did before, and I'm using this to bronze with my Physicians Formula bronzer in Fair, just to add warmth to the skin, not just shadow. Then I'm taking a angled brush for my blush. I want a lot of blush because it's going to be Valentine's Day. I think I'm going to mix this and this. Like a 1 to 2 ratio, like 2 this and 1 of that. And that's pigmented. We're going in with that deeper purpley blush, and I'm going, it's not blending out very well. Going into, don't do that, don't do what I did. Heavy-handed. I want to look like I'm having a panic attack. I want to look like I've run for a marathon. Kind of contour the nose with it, but then kind of going over here with it, and then kind of going around here, and then just kind of like taking this really fluffy, kind of flat brush and the highlighter that I use to set my lids and highlight my cheekbones. I want a more subtle highlight, which is something I don't do. But I want like a little glow or whatever, just a little something. Because something I'm gonna put over this, I just want that to stand out, not the highlighter. It would be too much. So, trust. Tip of my nose, bridge of my nose. I wouldn't have contoured my nose with any brown product, I bet, if I knew that I was doing all this. Chin. The next part I'm going to do is the part that I've been so excited for. I'm taking the black liner, and I'm going to make heart faux freckles onto my face. I wonder if I could get a reference.
And yes, this is when my camera cut off. Thank you guys for watching. I guess I'll put a picture right here of how the makeup turned out. Really disappointing that my camera cut off because I put so much work into creating those heart freckles and everything, and teaching you guys how to get that pointy like smile on the lips with the black lipstick. But I mean, at least I got to film this far through. So thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to leave a thumbs up if you liked the video. Leave a thumbs down if you didn't. I don't fucking care. It helps me out anyways. Leave a comment. Leave recommendations. Subscribe and put on notifications because next video I will be doing a get ready with me in Italian. So stay tuned for that.